and I'm going to talk about a new approach to solving that problem using AI and NLP. I've got a demo here. It's not the prettiest demo, but it allows me to show you some benefits to the ideas that we have. And now, instead of using that traditional lexicon matching where you're doing rule-based exact matches, what I'm going to try and leverage here is this idea of what we describe as semantic similarity. It's understanding the meaning of a word and using that to find the best match. Initially, I'm going to show you how we could do something that might be better understood, which is this idea of query expansion, but then I'm going to show you an idea of a semantic search specifically. So in this little box, I can type in some text, and then over on this side, I'm going to see a view of what the AI thinks are similar and associated terms based on the semantics, based on the meaning. I'm initially just going to click the English box. But rolling with this idea of bankers using non-compliant language, things that bankers might talk about might be pricing. Okay, so look at pricing, and if I'm going to try and find all the associated words with pricing, maybe I'd miss them or miss some of them if I was just to try and think about it myself, or if I was going to ask my colleagues, oh, what terms are associated with pricing? But using this, I can look, either very, very close to the word or expand out further. But I hit the button and you'll see what I mean. So based on the semantic space that our AI has created, we know that terms associated with pricing would be things like valuation, deregulation, premium, marketplace, pricing itself, price. These are all terms in English. Where the AI goes even smarter than maybe a monolingual person like myself is if I were to say, well, maybe I want to also include the Spanish terms, and I can add those in. Maybe if I just want to include the German terms, or perhaps the Japanese terms. And now I have semantically similar key query phrases or terms that I can use in a search to make sure I don't miss something, even in a cross-lingual or multilingual space. Now, supposing I don't want to start generating Boolean queries with multiple variants of words in different languages. Maybe I want to jump straight past that, and I want to scan the communications content that bankers are using in a regulated environment. So I want to pass all of their SMSs, all of their Bloomberg chats, all of their ICE chats, all of their Skypes, all of their emails through a system and automatically flag up non-compliant language. Here I can actually use the semantic similarity in their content with the lexicons to flag things up, and that's what the next part of the demo will show, he says, right? So now I'm going to do a query where the query would be the language that would be in their communications, and what I'm trying to do is match it against the content that I would have in the lexicon. So I've actually got a few hundred lexicon examples here. These are non-sensitive examples. They've come from a partner company of ours who provided these for our demos and testing. So I'm not going to show anything that's sensitive here, but it just gives you an idea of what non-compliant language might look like in a regulated banking environment. And I'm going to search now with some things that maybe would come up in an email communication. So something that could be sometimes benign, but sometimes not. So if a banker was to say something, if you are free, we should chat sometime later, that might imply they want to have an off-the-record conversation with their customer or with their associate. But if they didn't use the exact terms that were in the lexicon, normally this would miss. But if I hit the button now, you'll see what I'm doing. You'll see that I can actually get a graded view of how closely it matches something that's already in the lexicon. And you'll see that out of those several hundred examples, my search, if you're free, we should chat sometime later, is a pretty reasonable match for I'm wondering if you'll get some time this week. So it's a completely inexact match, but it gives you the same kind of meaning in this sentence from the lexicon as we have in the query. And potentially that would be something that could get flagged, and then a compliance officer, all they would have to do is confirm or deny whether that was actually non-compliant. But how about something that's a bit less benign? So here's a piece of text that could come up in a communication. this is today's amazing price. This is a banker trying to get the attention of one of their associates to get them to get in on a deal that's illegal. So if they include that, there is no exact match in the lexicon, but I get a very, very strong match for something that is in the lexicon. So our incredible deal of the day. So this is language that the compliance officers have seen before. Any mention of an incredible deal of the day should be flagged. But actually this terminology is close enough that it would be a true positive match for that lexicon, and that would get flagged up as non-compliant. So really you can see that this can only be approached by using AI, using this kind of semantic matching, this kind of similarity based on the meaning of the content. And now I'll give you one more example. Often bankers talk about quid pro quo. They talk about, I do something for you, you do something for me, or I won't do something for you if you don't do something for me, with a nudge and a wink. And the example here is in context, and often we need to use the context as well as the content to do the match. And actually, there's a strong hit against a lot of the examples in the lexicon, whereas still there's none that are exact. But you can see by the grading here, there's actually almost 50 out of these several hundred here that are strong hits from this term against the lexicons, even though it's not exact. So this is absolutely the direction that compliance officers should be taking when it comes to scanning communications data, leveraging that 80% unstructured data in order to get true positive hits for compliance checks.